So I'm wearing my ACC boots with my ACC gloves, using my ACC ball, while also wearing my ACC underwear for completely unrelated reasons. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review of the brand new Nike Merlin official match ball, the first ever match ball from the Nike brand to feature their signature ACC all conditions control technology. If you're interested in a Nike Merlin, the regular league branded colorway variations of the ball will be available later this summer. However, if you can't wait and you want something perhaps a little bit more unique and a little bit more limited, Nike has actually released this white, silver, and orange quick strike colorway of the Nike Merlin, which is exactly the same as what's going to be coming out later this summer, just obviously with different colors in more limited quantity. So if you are interested in one of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes. You'll be able to pick this ball up below its normal $160 retail price. I believe with an SR4U coupon code, you can get it for less than 130 bucks, which is still very expensive, but it's the latest and greatest match ball. They're all pretty expensive, and as far as pricing is concerned, just to touch on that, it still retails for $160, which is the same as the bottle it replaces, the Nike Ortem 5. So it hasn't seen a price increase despite the extra tech that they're including, which I guess is a good thing. Maybe not, it's still expensive. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. I can't do that. So let me start off by saying that I've been using this match ball for the better part of about a week now. I have this brand new one that I've kept fresh for the video and the other one that I've been using. And because it has ACC, I had to test it in all kinds of different conditions to see if it felt different in comparison to other match balls that of course do not have ACC technology. So I've used it in dry weather, I've used it in wet weather, I've used it in very cold, almost freezing conditions, and I've also used it indoors on an artificial grass playing surface where a lot of these match balls will see quite a bit of use as well. And my general conclusion, just to be extremely kind of open-ended on my overall thoughts on the impact ACC makes, is that it doesn't really make that big of an impact, if any at all. ACC all conditions control from Nike is something that's been around for several years now. It was first introduced on their boots, and obviously we're seeing it expand into balls and goalkeeper gloves as of late, those products being relatively new at this point. Now, in regards to how much of an impact it makes on their high-end soccer cleats, that's something that really everyone has their own opinion on. Me being somebody that has legitimately worn every Nike boot ever to feature ACC all conditions control, even the limited edition boots, and having tried pretty much all the takedown models and all the other boots from every other brand that doesn't feature ACC or whatever other wet control element is out there, I can honestly say that ACC, non-stop grip from Adidas, whatever wet control element you want to name, all of them don't really make that big of an impact in my opinion. Here's the thing about ACC, and I'm sticking with this because I've tried all the different shoes that have ACC. If I play with the Nike Tiempo Legend 7 in wet weather, that's gonna have a different level of grip on the ball in both dry as well as wet conditions when compared to a Nike Magista Opera 2, which is going to feel different from a Vapor 12 Elite. All the Nike shoes, despite having the same ACC technology that's supposed to enhance grip, especially in wet weather, I think that's what people are mostly looking for, they all feel different, they all perform different. So when you add ACC to the ball, does that kind of level out the playing field? Does that negate the need for ACC on soccer cleats? Or if you have ACC on your boots and ACC on the ball, does it mean that you're gonna have tons and tons of extra grip? Well, these are all things that I tested based on trying the ball with different shoes, and I can honestly say, depending on the shoe, depending on the ball, depending on the conditions, everything always felt different. Every shoe feels different, the conditions definitely matter, and you're always gonna have a moving ball, you're never gonna have the same amount of water on everything. It's really, really, really difficult to say 100% that this ball is better for wet weather or dry weather than any other ball that's out there. It's one of those things that, in all honesty, if Nike didn't put any ACC branding on this ball, if we had no idea that ACC was included here, honestly, I would think that it felt just like the Ortem 5 because the materials and texturing on the surface feel pretty much the same. So to put it bluntly, does ACC actually have a significant impact on the performance of this ball? In my opinion, no. So ACC aside, what about the rest of the ball? Does it actually perform well, and how does it compare to the Ortem 5 that it replaces? Well, here's an Ortem 5, if you didn't know what that looks like. It features a 12-panel construction where the panels themselves are basically pentagon shaped, all fused together, 12 in total, with aero track grooves running through the middle to make for supposedly better aerodynamics. And I can honestly say that from a performance standpoint, in regards to how this flies through the air, as well as the predictability of the ball, meaning that if I kick it straight, it actually goes straight, I think the Ortem 5 is one of the best match balls on the market right now. As far as the Merlin is concerned, it's a little bit different in that they've completely changed the panel construction. So instead of 12 pentagons, you now have this kind of tri-star shape that basically runs along the silver part of the ball. So we'll start right here. It goes all the way around, cuts like that, and then again, it's a three-sided shape. So you kind of have this giant panel here, of which there are 4 in total that connect to each other to create a rounded ball. The reasoning for this is, one, to have a larger sweet spot on the ball itself. Basically, the sweet spot would mean that when you strike the ball, there isn't any kind of a hard surface. Certain balls, depending on where you strike them, especially around the valve, this is not so much an issue with modern match balls, but more so older ones, you end up with a hard spot. So when you kick the ball, it doesn't always feel consistent, or at least respond the exact same way. Theoretically, when you have less panels, you're gonna have a larger sweet spot. And you can see the panels of these balls, of this ball actually, is quite large. So yes, it does feel like there is a larger sweet spot, but I didn't necessarily feel like there was an issue with not having a large sweet spot on the Ortem 5 that it replaces. If I'm being 100% honest again, while the design is drastically different than the ball it replaces, because the materials are so similar, honestly, it doesn't feel that much different than the Ortem 5. Initial impressions of this match ball, just like the last several Ortem ones, is that from the first couple of uses, it's very, very firm. It's got a very hard sensation to it, so it takes a little bit of breaking in, but that's not too uncommon for most match balls. Although I would say that Nikes in particular do tend to feel the stiffest out of the box. Once it's a little bit more broken in, it feels really, really good. It's got a nice, I guess, weight to it. The weight, I would say, is slightly lighter than what we had from the Ortems 1 through 5. So that could be viewed as a positive or negative thing, depending on what your opinion is on that. And also, because of this panel construction and that there's only 4 panels rather than 12, technically, according to Nike, there's 40% less seams on the ball itself, which again, is only supposed to increase the overall sweet spot on the ball itself. However, when it comes to the seams, being that they are all fused, I will say this: the quality of the seams is not quite as good as I'm used to seeing on Nike match balls. And I'm just gonna follow some seams here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. For the most part, those are okay, but you can see you get to certain sections where there's some interesting little folds and creases, like right there. You can see there's a little bit of a fold and a crease right there on the corner, and that's not something that's really ever gonna go away. You can see another little imperfection right there, and this ball has full regulation air in it. There's another one right there. Not to say that this is something that's going to impact the performance of the ball in any significant way. You're not gonna be able to feel these little imperfections, but these are imperfections that I didn't really see as often on the Ortem 5 versus the Nike Merlin. Now, of course, this is the very first variation that's hitting the market. So is it possible that they're gonna get better at producing these balls? Or maybe I just have one in particular or two in particular, because the other one I have looks very similar to this as well. It's possible that they will improve the more and more that they produce, but something to be aware of. I wouldn't say that it's a major red flag, but just in terms of build quality, it doesn't seem like this 4-panel construction goes together quite as nicely as the 12-panel construction on the Ortems 1 through 5 did. Just like the Ortem 5 that it replaces, this ball also features 3D ink texturing on the surface, as well as aero track grooves. And if you follow the aero track grooves, which you can see are inside of the large panels, it kind of follows the same pentagon shape that we saw on the Ortem 5. So essentially all they've done here with this 4-panel construction is they've taken what would normally be 3 panels and turned it into one giant panel, and then obviously connected them all together. The ball does look perfectly round, it feels perfectly round, and it performs as if it's perfectly round. So no major issues there. And as far as the aero track grooves are concerned, it follows a similar pattern. You can see there are some differences with some kind of overlapping sections right here. here, and there definitely are larger smooth surface areas versus what we saw on the Ortem 5, or basically the Ortem 1 through 5, because they had aero track grooves running pretty consistently throughout the entire ball, following the same pattern. You can see within this little orange tri-star in the middle, there's an aero track groove, and then it kind of just cuts off for a section and then goes back in, and then it goes right to the edges like we saw on previous generation Nike match balls. As far as the 3D texturing is concerned, hopefully you guys can see it on camera, it's kind of got this rounded shape to it. So it's almost like a circle from the center of each panel, and then it just kind of goes all the way out from there up until the edges, and then again, it just kind of restarts from the center of each panel. As far as how significant that texturing is, it's a little bit more significant than what we had on the Ortem 5. This is something that did change from generation to generation of the Nike Ortem match ball, and it does feel relatively grippy out of the box. Once you start using it more, it's something that does seem to wear away in regards to the stickiness of the ball. Again, new ball versus one that's been slightly used. But it feels pretty good. It's not overly slick in either dry or wet weather playing conditions when broken in. And again, as far as the importance is concerned of this texturing on the surface, I think we give some of these companies a little bit too much credit in regards to the tech behind this micro texturing on the surface of the ball. Because yes, it's there following a consistent pattern throughout the entire ball, but then you look at the inside of the Nike swoosh, basically where there's any printed logo, the texturing just completely stops. You can see where the ACC branding is, the texturing completely stops. Even the FIFA approved branding, there's no more texturing there. So does that lack of texturing in these small areas impact the aerodynamics of the ball, of which the texturing is there supposedly to improve the aerodynamics? I don't know. It's really, really difficult to say. I don't think at least that they would factor in no texturing where the Nike swoosh is or where the Merlin branding is when they tested the ball. I feel like they make the ball, have the design, and they put whatever graphics they want, and then obviously put the texturing around those graphics. So the ball, like I said, it feels a lot like an Ortem 5 with some fairly minor differences. Just a fun fact about the name of Nike's new match ball, it's called the Merlin. And the reason why it's called the Merlin is because the very first match ball that Nike provided for the Premier League was called the Nike Geo Merlin. I have it right here in a high visibility orange variation called, again, the Geo Merlin. You can see the name right there. Personally, I think they should have used this original logo and called it the Geo Merlin. That would have been really, really cool. But that's the logic behind the Merlin name of their new match ball. They're bringing the name back after 18 years. As far as how this old ball relates to the new one, aside from the fact that they're both balls, pretty much nothing is the same at all. So in conclusion, is the Nike Merlin match ball good? The simple answer to that question is yes. 100%, I really do think it is quite good. It's one of the best match balls that money can buy right now. Is it that much better than the Ortem 5 that it replaces? In my opinion, it's nothing that's significantly improved. It's very, very minor tweaks, and you could make the argument that because of the larger panel construction, that there is an enlarged sweet spot on the ball, meaning that it does have less hard spots, but that's something that, again, you kind of have to have both balls side by side and really be feeling it out, and even then, the difference is extremely minimal. So I'd say that the Ortem 5 is about 98% of what you're getting from the Nike Merlin, with this being a very, very slight improvement, but a better ball nonetheless. If you're on the market for an official match ball, I really think that this is top tier. I think the Ortem 5 is top tier, and I really do like the Adidas Champions League ball as well. Those would probably be my top three as far as match balls that are out there right now. As far as which one I would call my favorite, I would be between this ball and the Champions League ball. I really do like them. However, if you're just on the market for a match ball and you're not looking to have the latest and greatest thing because you just want match ball quality, performance, and durability, you can find an Ortem 5 on sale or a Champions League ball on sale for significantly less than a Nike Merlin. Absolutely go for that, because it's going to be, like I said, 99% as good as what you're going to experience from this particular ball. If you just want the latest thing, you're getting a good quality product here with the Nike Merlin. Just don't expect it to be drastically different than any other match ball that you've ever used. Anyways, guys, that concludes my review of the Nike Merlin match ball. Again, if you're interested in one of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, you'll be able to pick this guy up below its normal $160 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to support it with a like, and if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Other than that though, all my social media information is linked down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.